Hello, my name is Susanna Porowski, and I will be your host for the Sober and Free podcast. Welcome.
After a few years of solid sobriety, I decided to join the conversation. Each week, I sit down with a different guest, from authors and experts to everyday folks, to explore what it means to live sober and free. Whether you're navigating the journey or simply curious, we're here to offer support and connection.
Hello, welcome back to Sober and Free. And I say welcome back because I have been gone for a couple of months almost as I finished up some other projects and quite frankly, just didn't feel like doing it. This is something that I absolutely love, so it didn't make sense for me. And then I came to a realization today that I need to hire a coach. I am going to invest in myself because should I wish to offer a coaching program in any space from general life coaching to sober coaching, obviously I have to be a product of the product. And I've been limiting myself. I am very happy with my decision and I know where to start looking. And that was one of my things that stopped me. I could say I was busy at work. I could say we were off on a fantastic holiday in France. But the truth is, should something really be what you want to do with passion, you'll find the time. Even before I took a small break, I was fitting it in between the cracks. And so I'm very happy to be back. And with that, my guest today is Johnny Savic. And it was an absolute joy to talk to this incredible person. I love his vulnerability and his honesty and humility, not to mention his joy of being a father and his dedication to his family. If we have family men like this in the world, it's just a better place. We related a lot to the way we drank, he and and I really understood a lot of his musings, the way he quit, and why he is not going back. And without further ado, here's my talk with Johnny. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I really appreciate what you're doing here because
It's
as
fun.
a recovering addict, yes, this is needed. So,
Well, and we can all be a small part of sharing our story, going to that vulnerable place, and also maybe even giving a few lights on the runway for people who are maybe just becoming sober curious. And perhaps we took it a bit further. So that's why this show is all about the guests. So, Johnny, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And then, we can just chat a little bit about your recovery story. Okay.
I'm Johnny Savic and John Savic, Johnny Savic, whatever you want to call me. But I live in Brighton, Michigan, and I've been doing heating and cooling for 25 years. I have three kids. Their mom passed away
Oh,
and 6 years ago. So, um, been a big part of my recovery
for sure.
because I literally ruined my marriage from drinking, and it was my fault. Like people tell me it's not all my fault, but it is. I will take the blame, because I didn't do my part to be a husband and the right husband, the right father, and so I'm
Were
very
you drinking
blessed.
when she passed away? Were you like,
No,
still drinking? You were
no,
sober?
no. I got sober 10 years ago.
Okay.
It was literally we we split up in 2016, and we went through we went through the fighting, and we hated each other for about a year, and then we remembered why we got married, and we became best friends again. And I was super close to her when she passed away. So it was because I quit drinking, and I was able to focus on my kids and be the dad I needed to be. And so
And
it
have
was just rough.
yeah, and have access to those emotions. Well, let's go back then a little bit. Tell us a bit about how you started drinking.
Well, I started when I was the first time I got drunk, I was 15 on a New Year's Eve party at my cousin's house. And my my dad was a was an alcoholic, and he quit drinking on the 40th birthday. He's been sober for 42 years now almost.
Wow.
So
How did he do it? Sorry to interrupt you. How did he do it? AA or not AA?
not AA.
Okay.
Just put it down and walked away. And
Okay.
that's kind of what I did. Not really, but kind of. I got in trouble. So that's what made me what made me, push through and say this has to stop. It has to be done. I have to be done, because I was lucky enough to never hurt anybody or hurt myself with everything that I'd been through, because I was a reckless drunk. I really was. And it was I hurt a lot of people. Like, I have a great family, and they've done nothing but support me. So,
Mm.
but it's been a long road. So,
Mhm.
and it's not easy for anybody. We really take this life for granted if you think about it,
Oh, sure.
because we're not promised anything. So it's you got to realize, like, you have to work for everything at some point.
Mhm.
So I got 3 DUIs, and my third one, I was I was going to kill myself. Like,
Intentionally, or just did you
yeah,
see afterwards
no,
that intentionally?
when
Okay.
because I got my third DUI, and it was on Mother's Day of all, let's just
Yeah.
let's just say how I just went out with a boom. It was on Mother's Day, and I went to jail. That was my last drink. And when I got home, I started looking up, going into treatment and things like that. And treatment's so expensive.
Yeah.
So I would love to see treatment be more accessible to people that want it, because it's not very accessible to people that, that need it. So I mean, say what you will, but I had a gun in my mouth. I was ready to do it.
I'm so glad
But
you didn't.
me too.
I'm so glad you didn't. We have this date with destiny sometimes, and we have our fork in the road. And I'm so glad we're here together in this moment, um, with our focus even on the people that are listening and on them and our wellness and their wellness, and focusing on, love basically instead of that.
Right.
Right.
And then I was, because I thought about it, I was like, okay, I can't do it because of my kids. Like, I love my kids. And that would be the ultimate selfish move for me. I've already been selfish. I needed to change. So that's the only thing that kept me from doing it,
But
because I was like,
you had a thought, right? If we go to that moment
yes,
where you decided
yes,
not to, that thought was a gift.
right. Oh yeah, absolutely. And my faith brought me to that place, because I couldn't do it. God gave me everything.
God spoke to
And
you in that moment and showed you
and
your.
I right. And
Yeah.
me throwing away would be slapping God in the face too. So I couldn't do that. I just and then I didn't have a license, so I got up and I walked to an AA meeting. And AA was great to get me going.
Yeah.
I don't I've and the one thing, like, because I can never be proud of quitting. Like, people are like, oh my God, it's so good that you quit and this and that. But if when I think about it, I should have never been there. That should have never happened. So I can't be proud of something like that. But I can, because I never relapsed, never once relapsed on it. I went when my ex-wife died. I It was, I was that close, I was really close, but I never actually, I couldn't go through with it. Like I couldn't throw away all the progress that I've made.
Mm-hmm.
I beat something finally. I won. I beat alcohol. So I couldn't sit here and I will never let it get me. I can't because I love my kids more than anything in this world and they need me. I need them more than they need me. So
Would you say
it's
you
just
got
been
sober for them?
um yes and no, but um I got sober for the fact that I knew I wasn't going to live. I was going to be dead.
So you got sober
And
for your life, for you.
right, yeah, I needed to be here.
You chose life.
And yeah, oh yeah. And I'll never forget when because I spent 22 days in the jail because of my third DUI. And when I got home, I remember I sat all three of my kids down on the couch and I told them, I said, I'm promising you, I'm going to give you this promise right now. I'm never going to drink again. And to this day, I can still see my daughter. I have a son that's 18, a daughter that's 15, and a son that's 12. So, and I can still see my daughter looking at me, and and I can never get that out of my head. I can,
How was she looking at you?
She was looking at me like optimistic, but it was just, she's got this look about her that I can't, I can't, that little girl will see through me in a second,
She didn't
every
trust.
time.
She didn't trust you. She didn't trust that you were not going to drink again. Was it that?
She did, but she didn't know how to, because they didn't know. My kids didn't know I was an alcoholic. I didn't, I wasn't all falling
Right.
down and drunk around them.
Yeah.
I
They didn't
was
know how
making
bad it was, is what you're trying to say.
no, exactly, because they were too young, so
Yeah.
they didn't know anything. And when I when I was making my own moonshine. I had alcohol at all times.
Yeah.
I was never starving for it. So, and it just enabled me to do everything I didn't want to do, everything I didn't want to be, and all my friends and, they worried about me, but they couldn't do anything about it. So, it's
You
just,
know what
it's nice to be trusted again.
you know what they say in AA: jails, institutions, and death. That is the three things that are waiting for us
Yes,
when we continue our addiction.
that's absolutely correct too, and
Mhm.
I, AA was a good starting point for me, but then I didn't like people that aren't AA, they kind of think that I'm might be hotty toddy or above them because I don't go to AA anymore. I don't need AA.
And
I
my sober coach said to me, it's okay for people to be wrong about you. And that's a
right,
waste of space in my real estate up here. She told me that at 3 months when I had a tough time at 3 months sober. I did the AA thing. This time I decided since really getting an education since 2012, I really learned about the truth about myself and changed my relationship with alcohol. And then therefore, or put it this way, I changed the nature of my perspective of alcohol, like what I saw when I saw alcohol, like I saw the lies,
right,
I saw that there's nothing, not one thing good about it, like not one thing. Like think about it. You don't have a desire to drink when there's nothing good about it. Like you're not going to drink horse piss,
exactly.
you're
And
not going to drink
I
poison like arsenic.
right, and I'm not me. Nobody is themselves on alcohol,
Well,
and
yeah, but that's the result of the poison. But the thing is,
right,
you're okay. Knowing that I'm not me when I'm drinking it wasn't enough to stop me,
yeah,
because I knew I
but
wasn't on alcohol, but that wasn't enough to stop me. What was enough to finally stop me, and the reason that perhaps you as well, but the reason that I don't need AA, I could go to AA, that's fine. But the reason I don't need it is because And it might help some of my other problems. I don't know, that interpersonal stuff, the 12 steps, you know, the
Yeah.
working on
Right.
ourselves, the 12 traditions. It might help. But the reason I don't need it in order to be sober is because I haven't offloaded my sobriety to a group. And I know the truth about alcohol, which is there's not one good thing about it. And once you know the truth, you're not harboring some secret desire to drink that you then therefore have to go to AA and, you know, and be convinced on a daily basis from people telling their stories and
Right.
warning you that you're not yourself, jails, institution, and death. And the reason you always need the warning and the AA like mantra going through your head all the time is because you're harboring a secret desire to drink.
Right. And I don't even have a desire to do it
Well,
anymore.
that's why you don't need AA. See, that's what I've been sort of legitimizing this weekend when I had this epiphany 2 days ago where I went, holy shit, the only requirement for membership is desire to stop drinking, but we go into AA with both a desire to stop drinking, but also we need AA if we still have desire to drink. And also the AA group of people, there's many of them, and there's an overall vibration that drinking alcohol is still desirable. It's
Right.
fun, and it's too bad we can't do it. We're unlucky. Whereas the people outside of AA who are truly and solidly sober, we believe that we are the luckiest because we don't need to drink anymore. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
Because I,
difference.
I, you know, and truthfully, like people tell me I shouldn't, but I blame myself for her not being here anymore. You know, my ex-wife for her
Why? Like,
dying.
tell me
You
about
know,
that. Why you what did you, if you don't mind sharing, I know it's vulnerable,
because
but
no, 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 it's fine.
what made
If I
her
break,
pass and why do you blame yourself? Tell us.
she had an accident and at her house, and she fell, and she, you know, it was just a freak accident. So, um, but I sit here, and it's not like I can't say, you know, I'm not saying she'd be alive if I was here, if she was, you know, if I, but I know I wasn't a good enough husband to her. I didn't treat her right. I was mentally abusive. I was never physically, but I was mentally abusive. And you know that had I been a better person, you know, it's the whole butterfly effect. We, you know, have if I did this, this wouldn't happen, you know. So it's I really you know, she was so, you know, she was 34 years old when she
So
passed
young,
away.
so young.
So and I still take care of her grave. You know, you know, I promise, you know, I promised her and God I'd take care of her till death.
Do
And
you
I'm going to
see
keep.
do you see a day where you're gonna where you've forgiven yourself? Do you see a day like that?
No,
No?
no,
Okay.
no, I
Yeah,
can't,
yeah,
you know, I don't deserve it.
right,
So, you know, I don't, in my heart, I don't deserve it.
right. Yeah. I can see you beating yourself up a lot over this. And would she want you to feel this way about yourself if you're
No,
here?
no, God, no. She was
No.
a great person, you know,
Yeah.
she gave me every chance. You know,
Oh,
even after we split up, she was still on my doorstep to help me if I needed it.
right.
Never, ever, you know, she had a true heart, you know, and she
Well,
would not want me to do this.
maybe her dream is for you to forgive yourself. Maybe that's her dream beyond the grave. She's looking at you right now, loving you and saying, I really want you to see this for yourself. I don't know. I'm
That's
throwing a
oh yeah, that's exactly what she would say. But I can't do it. You know,
well,
I
right now
can't.
you can't. Right now you can't.
You know,
I'll,
it's still too fresh for that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's
And
been 6 years.
I'm not saying you
So
should. I'm just throwing out alternate universes where you are in one that you're forgiven.
right. And I would love to forgive myself, but I just don't think I'm worthy of it.
You
I
don't.
really don't.
Well, I tell you one thing, when we don't see the top of the staircase, we can still start on the first step. And I think the first step is to just look at the good in your relationship and perhaps try to almost revisionist history of looking at your good times when you first met
Right.
and the times where you were good to her and you had it in you, you know, and that's our true selves. And I think the biggest thing that addiction takes from us is it puts a cloak. I've said a million times, my listeners are probably tired of hearing me say it, but it kind of puts a veil between our true selves and then this self that we have actuating in the world that is so superficial, and it's
Right.
just a people pleaser, and it's doing what we think we should do, and it's not able to show our vulnerability. And that is a combination of the reason we drank, which is the unhealed self, and also the drunk self. You take those two, and that's what we're out in the world with. And then when we get sober, our true self is allowed to just be. And when
Right.
we be like me with when I start my podcast, when I started it, and when I have to listen to myself when I edit, it's not really that fun, right? When you listen to yourself, but
Oh,
I
it's
also,
not.
right, but I also have to just allow myself to be, just get off my own case, and
Yeah.
um whatever it is, what it is. And then in that, I grow roots where I'm planted. I get to be stronger when I stay where I'm planted, and just accept it. You know, the sun comes in this way. You know, it's funny because I love house plants, but I move them all over the house if they're not doing well. And my
They gotta
husband,
make you gotta make them happy, you know?
well, I'm trying, but my husband says to me, you know, plants on the forest floor don't move all over the forest, Susanna.
Right.
Leave them. And he's right. Like we won't, and some will die.
We have to adapt, you know, that's the thing. So
Yeah,
it's
but you can't adapt. And right before you almost adapt, you might die in some
right.
ways, like figuratively. I'm not talking about your wife's death. I'm talking
Yeah, no, yeah, exact. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know,
certain parts
I
of our personality. It might have to give way if we just that, hey, I just had that high level thought. That's a good thought, that certain parts of our personality may fall away if we start to accept ourselves.
yeah. And you know, so AA wasn't for me, but therapy was,
Tell me about
you
that.
know. Because I had there's this thing in Michigan, it's called drug court in Livingston County. And so you go to this to the judge every month. It's like a monthly meeting, and they ask how, you know,
How are you doing?
they just kind of go through how you're doing. You know, are you working? Are you staying clean? And that program was very helpful to me. If and that's what I tell people about it. I'm like, if you utilize the program, it's so helpful because, you know, I had groups I could go to. And when I was the guy you had on, what's his name?
Gordon, Austin, those are the two guys I had on.
Warden. Yeah.
Gordon,
Yeah,
the
he
musician.
yeah, because he was saying about, you know, when you quit drinking, you you create an addiction on something else. And that's what I saw people doing, you know, like working out or, you know, doing different tasks, and they would just trade their addiction for something else.
Mhm.
And I didn't do that. You know, I just knew I couldn't do this anymore. I couldn't be this anymore. And
Yeah.
if I'm gonna be this, then I might as well not be here, you know, because when I quit drinking, I didn't know that you could almost die
Quitting. Yeah.
from quitting. Nobody ever told me that, you
Gordon said
know. And
that too. Remember? Gordon
yeah,
said,
yeah, that's
and
why, you
Gordon
know.
must have known, he must have known deep down that you could die if you quit, because he wasn't quitting, and he was very bad. And then he heard that you could die from quitting, so he was paying attention. Why would he pay attention unless he had some secret plan to quit? So then he's paying attention that you can die when you quit. And
Right,
then, you know, he was gathering some information, and that's why he dropped by that friend's place. Remember, he said, I don't know why, but I dropped by a friend's place. But then the friend took him to the hospital because
right.
he know these things deep down.
And
Anyways, yeah.
I was sick for like a month, you know. And
So did
it
you
was
just,
horrible.
so tell us about your stop. So tell us about the last drunk. Tell us, well, you told us of the DUI, but tell us about how you, day one, day two, and all that.
Because I was in jail. I went in jail on a Saturday night. Mother's Day was Sunday. and I didn't get out till Tuesday.
So
So
you had to go cold turkey and sick, but in
I had to
jail.
go cold turkey and sick in jail, and plus I'm in a cell with in a holding cell with all these guys that I don't
Horrible.
know, and
Comfortable sitting down at the most.
right, and just sitting on a concrete bench,
Oh
you
my God.
know, with
Yeah.
no cushions for 3 days, and just so I thought a lot. I thought a lot. When I get out of here, this I can't come back here. And one of my old high school buddies was a corrections officer at the jail, and I saw him, and I didn't want to be that.
Yes,
That's
you're
not how I want to see him. I want to see him at a reunion. I don't want to see him in jail.
yes.
So because it's like people, they just, it was just rough. And then when I got home, I was able to actually do something about it. Because in jail you can't do anything about it. You're
You
stuck in
don't,
a cell. You're not,
but you
you're
can
not.
plan. You needed that. You planned your future with with gusto.
But I
You
didn't know what to do, and that's the thing. I didn't know what like. I didn't know anything about AA meetings. I'd never been to one. So, because I quit in '05, and I was clean for like a year and a half when I got married. And when we got married, we were on our honeymoon, we were in Hawaii. Guess what? Mai tais are amazing, you
yeah.
know. So what a way to come back in. So it was, and then I started drinking again, and it wasn't, it wasn't, I was just, I started as a binge drinker. I was a binge drinker until I became like a full-fledged alcoholic. And it was so then I started drinking, and then I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2012,
Oh
five
no.
days after my birthday. I lost my vision, and I went to the hospital, just thinking I lost vision in my eye. And next thing I know, I got multiple sclerosis. And
Oh,
you walk in not knowing what you have, and walk out going, you have a lifetime disease that they don't have a cure for. So a lot going through my head,
yeah.
and the depression was so horrible for me. That's when I started being a full-fledged alcoholic,
Yeah.
because I was mixing antidepressants and alcohol, and all the pills they were giving. I was prescribed 25 pills a day at one point.
What?
Yes, I was prescribed
That's crazy.
25 25 pills a day. And I was like,
Wow.
and it's so now I'm doing more natural stuff, and I am down to six.
And you're practicing
So
prevention because you're not drinking.
right, exactly. And I don't need that drink to help me through everything anymore, because I I can't look my kids in the face if I ever take a drink again. I cannot.
No.
And and
Especially your daughter.
yeah, exactly, because she's my little judge, and
She sounds like a sensitive person.
she's a sensitive person. She's a nurturing person, and I can't disappoint her. If I disappoint her, I'm done.
Yep.
That's she's my little saving grace. So,
They don't tell you
and
when you have kids that it's going to be your heart that's now outside of your body and walking around
yeah,
and,
exposed to everything.
and
So it
explode. Like that's
was
your heart because your kids are your heart.
right. And
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a dad. I had her name picked out when I was 16 years old. I said,
Aw.
I want a little daughter named Isabella.
That
That's
was
what
my
I want.
next question. Yeah,
And we
Isabella.
found out we were having a girl, my ex-wife, and I go, well, you know what the name's going to be. She goes, yeah, because it's
It's
going
a
to be Isabella.
beautiful name. It's a beautiful. And does she use
Thank
the
you.
full name?
No, she goes just by Bella.
I was gonna
So,
say a lot of people shorten it. Yeah.
and I lost I'm not John anymore. I lost my name. I'm Bella's dad now.
Oh,
So
well,
when I see anybody in town, so
yeah,
I'm never John. I'm Bella's dad.
that's
So,
okay because you're proud of her.
I just really I love these kids so much, and I don't want them to go through what I went through
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of
I think we do, sorry. I think we do them such a service by going through even the struggles of recovery because when they see us struggling through recovery, in other words, we're showing them that it's worth it, that that we're up to the fight of our life. They see it. They know
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Whether they know it consciously or not, my
right.
20-year-old, he's just not interested in alcohol. And I am not a soapboxer around the family. They know I have a
Right.
sober and free group and podcast, but the best sobriety I've ever had is this one. And it's one that doesn't get into other people's drinking. Now, if it got to the point where they were, I think, going to lose their life, of course, I'm all in there like a dirty shirt. What I mean is my husband,
Right. Yeah.
he drinks his beer when he watches the game. Like there's a point where I really can't care about that, where I have to just do my sobriety and do my life just like anybody else's autonomy about their life. Like you can't live someone else's life for you, even your kids, and especially when they turn of age of majority. There's a point where I have to let my kids experiment with alcohol and drink.
They gotta be the kids. They gotta
Got it.
have.
We had that, and it was a path
Right.
that went, and even my alcoholism, but he, knock on wood, is just, he's just, and a lot of young people not interested.
Right. And my kids aren't interested either. That's the thing. And my my son and my daughter, they're 2 years apart, two and
Right.
a half years apart. So their friend just died in a car accident.
Alcohol was
Like,
involved.
yes, the driver was drinking and he ran off the road. The car flipped over. The kid flew out of the back seat. The car landed on top of him.
Fuck,
16 years old, and I
those
I
poor
met that.
parents. Oh my God.
Yes, yes. So he was friends to my daughter and my son because they're so close in age. And I saw that kid I met him once, like 2 weeks before he died. I met him and I saw he was out with this other kid that is friends with my kids, James. And when I saw there was four boys out, and I said, "Listen, boys," I said, "let me tell you something." I said, "You cannot mess around." I said, "If you need a ride, you call somebody, you
Yeah.
know." And I tell my kids that I'm like, if if you get in a position, don't hop in a car with anybody, and don't hop in the car for yourself if you're drinking. I was like, I'll come get you. I'm gonna
Call
be
an
really
Uber
mad.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really mad, or I might cuss you out. I might just be mad or something, but I won't. You're gonna be here. You're not gonna be dead. Because and I told those boys that, and that the kid that died, I'll never forget the look he was giving me. Like he was actually listening to me. Tell him about, because I was like, listen, boys, I was like, if you need a ride, call somebody. You know, I was like, I'll give you my number. You can call me. Like, I don't care if it keeps you alive. That's good. And then next thing I know, he died in very unfortunate way. It wasn't his fault. So so I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, if you get in a bad position, don't worry about it. We'll fix it later, but you're going to be alive to fix it. So, I got, I
Some
got extremely lucky.
I'm lucky that my 20-year-old has money. He has a full-time job. And then therefore, if he gets himself in a situation, he'll be able to call an Uber because he has money. I know that sounds so,
Right.
a lot of the
No, it
reasons that they
doesn't.
want to wake you up is because maybe they're not working right now. They don't really have the money for a cab. It would consume too much of their coin if they've only got a few $100s in the
Right.
bank because they're young. But mine has that steady 40 hours every 2 weeks. He's saving his money. He has a few $1,000s saved up. So for him, if he was in a situation, even if it was for a group of them, he would just pay for an Uber. And that sounds
Right.
superficial, but is it? If you have the money, you tend to not drink and drive. Sometimes you drink and drive because you just want to save money.
No, I drink and drive because I was
What was your thinking? My thinking was I don't want to come back here tomorrow. First. Secondly, like I want to have my car at home when I wake up. Second, like
exactly.
maybe I have to go to work. So, but it was also the money. Like sometimes I'd be like $50, $60 car ride, like cab or Uber or whatever. It was so petty, so petty. And you know how many
When I
rounds
was,
$50 or $60 could buy? So even in the terms of alcohol, I don't want to spend that on an Uber. But I'm talking about this is literally why we do things, and it's so stupid that we would use reasons like that. But it is when I had an open bar, March 2000 and whatever it was, 21, 20, I quit in 22, but it was the year before that in March that I really got scared because of something
Yeah.
that happened. And I lightened up the drinking for a couple of months and then quit. So it came in quietly, my sobriety.
Right.
But in the March, we had an open bar situation at a party for my husband's work party. And I got unrecognizably drunk. He pretended he didn't know me
Jeez.
because it was his
That's the
company.
worst. Yeah.
It was his company. And then the bartender cut me off. But then the bartender tried to cut him off and he said, no, I don't know her. Like he was having his fourth drink or whatever. And the bartender was, no, I thought I cut you guys off. And he's like, I'm not with her.
That's
My husband.
yeah.
I don't blame him at all. But I got so hammered. And then the next day felt again so awful for the 5 billionth time. All the rules come out when you finally get into the shower. But it was 52, 53 years old. Like I'm just so done. And I didn't luckily kill anybody with a vehicle. I didn't luckily end up in jail, DUI, all of that stuff. I don't know, my standards. I have a lifestyle that I'm able to stay home. I was able to drink at home a lot because this type of lifestyle that I had.
Yeah.
I just got lucky. Put it that way. I got lucky.
Well, I should have realistically, I probably should have died in a couple times when I was drunk and, I wrecked my truck. Like,
Wow.
it
Yeah.
was, I had buddies that would be like, hey, I'll buy you a shot if you drive home. All right, good.
Yeah. 100%.
So
100%.
it wasn't, I remember back in the day, the cops following my dad home from the bar, and it wasn't like that. It's not like that anymore.
Right. To make sure you
Which
are
I'm
home.
right, so it's people, it was just, I don't know, I was so careless.
Well, we used to
And
take road pops.
yeah, well, yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
the bartender used to be going along with it in the 80s. Well, the 80s, I was a young teen, but 83, I was 13, 84, I was 14, and so on. So through the 80s, it was all my teens. And then in the 90s, obviously, I was in my 20s. And a few times, they were called, the after hour over the counter liquor
Oh
sales.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
were called after sales, I think. I can't remember what they were called, but you could buy, and it was illegal, but they would do it. You could buy liquor from the bartender in the case. Off sales. That's what it was called. Off sales.
Off
So
sales. Okay, yes.
we would
Yes.
get a box or two of beer, 6-pack or two of beer or whatever, and even call the boys and get whatever was clever, drug wise, and go back to someone's house and, play crib, do coke all night, and just stupid shit, and feel like so bad the next day and do it all over again. Like we just never learned.
Right. And it was a daily, it was a
Yeah.
weekend thing. I
Yeah,
I
it
knew what I was
was.
gonna be doing Friday and Saturday night. I
That's
knew
what
it.
you're small town Michigan. I'm small town Alberta. Well, I'm not
Right.
Edmonton, but a lot of farming communities in and around Edmonton. And when we moved here, I was 12, but from Saskatchewan, which is also a farming community. And I'm from Ontario, that big province, Toronto. I'm from there. I don't know what the drinking culture is like there. I left there when I was 8 years old. And when I went back for college, I was concentrating so much on becoming a dancer and choreographer. Of course, there was tons of drinking, but it wasn't the same mentality. It was
Right.
high class. Don't you know who I think I am? Unabashed drinking. Here in the farm community, it was drink to get drunk.
Oh yeah, that's all it was too.
I mean,
I wasn't happy unless I was drunk.
you got your garden variety alcoholic out east, of course, but it's just different here. It is, here's the difference, Johnny. Here's the difference. In Ontario, you were doing an activity and accompanied by drinking, and then yes, there were some people that get absolutely blotto, and then there's alcoholics.
Yeah.
Here in the farming communities, the activity was the drinking.
Yes. And the
I've never
activity
seen that
was
before.
driving home. We didn't
Yes,
stay at people's houses. We drank and we drove home. That's all we
yes.
did.
Because and what did you do last night? Oh, we went out for drinks. Like, yeah, but then after a few years, when I was in my 20s, I went, wait a minute, hold on a second. Why is drinking actually the activity? That doesn't make sense. That's just you're drinking something, but what are you doing? Like, how can the
No.
drinking be the activity? What about
That's-
play pool, maybe play darts, at least do something and drink.
No, it was
Don't
drink and
just
make fun of
drink.
each other. Drink and make fun of each other. That's what we
Drink and make
did.
fun of
You
each other.
know?
Drink and talk shit. Like
Yes, exactly.
it's such a stupid activity. It's so
Worthless
dumb.
activity,
It's
you
useless.
know, and
Stupid. And the thing is,
absolutely.
it's just so sold everywhere that it's a thing. And you know what? I'm here to say with my podcast, with my group, with my any chance I get, I'll get up on my soapbox and say, you've been lied to. This is nothing. This is stupid. This
Right.
is poison. And it's in all these millions of pretty bottles with the media telling you with TV and movies that it's part of the culture that when something is celebrated or you're super, super sad and down in the dumps, it all must be accompanied by alcohol. That is not true.
And the pretty bottles thing, when you say that, it's funny because I never drink beer. I wasn't a beer drinker.
Right.
I drank liquor, vodkas,
Pretty
tequila,
bottles.
all that. I was a mixed drinker because I didn't like beer. I hated beer.
Yeah.
But then after I quit drinking, they come out with all this fun shit to drink.
And
Like
now you're like, I can't have it because this doesn't make
I was
sense.
like, exactly. But I
You can
remember
drink
when
non-alcoholic stuff in pretty bottles now.
no, it doesn't it's not the
Waste of
same.
money. See, I'm
So
all about the money.
because it's like I remember it was like a few months after I quit, I was cleaning out my garage and I used to hide alcohol in my garage because I was the only one in the garage.
Like
So
tequila, or what did you hide in there? Tequila, rum, what did you hide?
I used to drink Twisted Tea and Smirnoff Ice. Those were my two go-tos,
I
you
love
know.
Smirnoff Ice.
Yes. So that was my favorite, black Smirnoff Ice. So
Oh,
I
me
remember
too.
yeah, I was in the garage and I found a bottle that I'd hid and I looked at it and I'm like, and I said, I remember looking at the bottle going, God, this looks so good. And then within 10 seconds, I was like, you know what you did to your life and your family and with this? And I just threw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
It's so disgusting to me, to know what I put my family through a lot. And if my parents weren't who they are, if they weren't so supportive of me, I'd probably be dead or in jail right now.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
we all have these angels. I think I had a podcast this morning, and with the guest, we were talking about you sometimes get a moment right before a relapse, that the relapse does happen. But if
yeah,
you think back, you get a moment right before you relapse where you get a pause,
right.
where you have a
And
moment
that's what it was. That's
where you have a
exactly what it
moment of
was.
reality. So you had that moment and it went in the favor of staying stopped, but it can
Yes.
easily go the other way. And I picked up the bottle again once in 2015. So I stopped, or maybe 14, I think 14. I stopped in 2010, 11, something like that for 3 years. And in 2000, and then I don't remember, I have to go through some photographs, maybe will help me and get my years right. But I quit one of my quitting times in AA. And then we went on a vacation and I drank again with Grand Marnier. I mean, oh my God, here it is 10 days, ultra luxury. We have our own
Yeah.
stairs in the Mayan Riviera with a group because I earned the trip. I look amazing because I'd lost all the weight and gotten so fit. And I was younger, I was 38 or whatever. And so I'm feeling all of that. Like my ego is like, I'm sober. I'm boisterously sober. And then on the trip, I decided it's a good idea after 5 days of unending alcohol being offered to me that I go to the bar and I have on my own in this beautiful bar without my husband or friends, I order a Grand Marnier and I consciously break my sobriety. But anyway, so I'm drinking again and I hadn't thought about actually breaking my sobriety with that Grand Marnier until this morning. I thought, oh, yeah, that was a relapse. The thought was like being, like what I said about the propaganda and society being a drink pusher. I mean, it was pushing these drinks on me. I use that as an excuse, but it was the first 5 days of the trip. It's like, do you want a senorita? You want a tequila? You want a margarita? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no. I'm like Wonder Woman with the gold wristbands going like, no, no, no.
Yeah,
Well,
stop it.
finally,
Get it away from me.
yeah, I finally succumb. I'm weak, and I have all the DNA memories of how the good times roll from when I used to drink when there were some good times, and with fading effect bias, which is fab. I forgot about the bad times. I only remember the good times. So of course, then I,
Exactly.
and then another time that I could have broken was your Smirnoff Ice example, because someone had left a cooler in my fridge when they'd come over, parties. I never disallowed alcohol. And when
Right.
I was having another party, a sober party for me, I had cleaned the house. And I remember looking at that cooler. And when the house was all clean, that half hour before people come over, when your house looks the best that it's ever looked,
Right.
and your husband is, or your spouse is, getting the salad ready or whatever he was doing, uh,
Yeah.
getting the appetizers ready, and he's drinking his martini and you're not drinking. And then you say, fuck it. And you go downstairs and you get that cooler and you think, well, you don't think at all. I didn't think at all.
No.
If I
And that
thought,
was
I never could have, I would have never been able to think the thought all the way through and not know that I was lying, because I knew I was lying to myself. Of course, this is going to lead right back to daily wine drinking, which it did.
right. Because, and that's, it's funny because that's when I was listening to your podcast, I went through all the episodes. And when you brought the Smirnoff Ice, I'm like, oh, she's just like me.
Mm.
So, I felt like this like connection with you at that point
Yes.
when you were talking about how good Smirnoff Ice was. I was like, yeah, exactly. Smirnoff Ice
Oh, I
was
used
so
to love
good to me.
it. My
But
sister-in-law, we'd go to California and it's cheaper there, lower alcohol content. Here it's 7%. There it's 5%. Here
oh,
it's
I used to be in Windsor constantly. When I turned 19, I was in Windsor for 2 years.
okay, so
You
7%.
know,
So that shit would get you drunk. But did you notice about Smirnoff Ice that you don't really feel it until about the third or fourth one?
no, you don't. Exactly. That's
Yes.
how it always was with me. I'd be sitting there
Yes.
drinking, and like the third or fourth one, I'm like, oh man, this is finally kicking in. Like,
And it
what's
was a
going
good
on?
drunk. Like I was not, I would drink the six at a party. And as long as I stopped there, which once in a while, I don't remember because I was drunk. Like I'm amazed by people who remember every single party they went to and everything. It's like, how do you remember all that shit you were drinking? But anyway,
I know.
so yeah, yeah, I don't tell a very good story because I was blotto. So how do I can't remember, but I would drink the six. And if I came home and didn't really drink anything else, I could actually go on like that probably for years, but I would
Right.
drink more. I would come home and drink wine and beer and yeah. So then it would
Yeah, it
really,
goes from a six to a 12 pack to,
oh, and the
to
sugar in those things.
yeah, and
Oh my,
it was just it was dangerous,
yeah.
because
So,
I was just like I was like you, I didn't know where I was at until it was too late,
yeah,
and I was
they
already on the
taste,
other side of the hill by that point.
yeah, they managed to eliminate the taste of alcohol, so they taste too good. So
Right.
our body's natural alert system is already turned off by the anesthetic of the alcohol. But I think with the sugary flavor, we have other alerts that would be probably activated when we're drinking Johnny Walker Black or something like that. Like just your
Right.
mouth would probably go, wow, this is really strong, the burn and all that. But it managed to get all of that gone too. So you're drinking this thing that tastes like pop.
Yeah, and I would go out with my buddies. Like I still remember one time we were all at a restaurant eating, me and my buddies, and my one of my best friends, Anthony, he was we were taking she was taking drink orders. He goes, I'll go bat and get an arbor mist for the lady here. Cause I didn't drink beer, so they told me I drink arbor mist,
Right.
so it was and I was 325 pounds.
Oh yeah, that stuff's sugary.
when I was drinking. Yeah, because I mean, I remember cleaning out my garage, going, Twisted Tea should send me a Christmas card or something,
Right?
for all the money I spend.
All
Like,
the
what is
flat,
going on?
yeah,
Like,
36 packs that you drank. I
oh
like
yeah, I mean,
I liked twisted tea as well. My sister, she drinks twisted tea, and she drinks very slowly. Like she drinks consistently, but she drinks slowly. So I remember, maybe you're like me, I used to drink really quickly.
oh, I was thirsty. I wanted it
I
gone.
was thirsty,
You
yeah.
know, I
And
didn't
so
want
I
it to
used to
get
go
warm at
through the
all.
twisted tea that I would bring. And then I was always wanting, some of hers. And it's a sore spot for me to want something of somebody else's, because this was my younger sister, but I grew up with an older sister that very much took care of all her belongings, and she had a beautiful room and beautiful stuff and beautiful perfume bottles. And now I know that she probably dusted and cleaned and wiped the bottles and took care, but I didn't see all that. She just took
Right,
care of her stuff in secret when I wasn't allowed in her room. But then I would come in and think, her stuff's so beautiful. So I would take it, I would use it, I would wear that sweater.
right,
So I had a adolescence of not being ever able to borrow her stuff. So then whenever I've run out of my own stuff, I hate having to borrow someone else's. And it was
I
happening
know.
with alcohol because I drank so fast that I just wanted to go back to the liquor store and get more. But
Exactly.
I didn't want to show up with 36 because I would drink 36.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm a creature of habit. It's like if I show up with 24, I'm gonna drink 24. You
And then
know.
my habit's gonna go up. I said to Janet on the Janet Goron podcast, remember I said the only reason I would stop drinking at the end of the bottle was because the bottle was finished.
Yes, yes, I remember that. Yeah, it
If it
was
wasn't finished, then there was no indicate. Like that's why the box wines were so dangerous for me. I would go down to that box with no level. It's opaque. You have no idea what level you're at. And I secretly loved that because I could be in denial that I'd probably
right.
finished a liter and a half. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
And then it
I
would be
didn't,
empty.
I couldn't control myself.
Oh,
So,
I
it was, I can control myself when I'm out, then I controlled myself. But until I was out, I was still drinking.
yeah,
So
at
I
home.
drank
Yeah.
till it was gone.
And
So it was,
until I was in oblivion and passed out. So anyway, so we've gone on and on and on about our drinking. Now let's get into, so you stopped drinking, went to this wonderful accountability program, even though it wasn't wonderful because it was as a result of a DUI, but it ended up helping you. How many years did you have to stop doing that accountability with that judge? And so when did you stop that?
that went on because I was getting tested 8 times a month
How
for,
P tested?
yes, yeah. And so I was getting tested 8 times a month. And you had to call every day for a color. If your color was called, then you had to go in and, drop urine.
Right.
So I went through that for um about a year. It was a year that I was that I had to get tested and stuff. But my, and it was kind of nice because my probation officer, she was, she didn't worry about me getting back into it. It was weird, because I was serious about it. I was serious about quitting. So she didn't really worry about me starting back up.
Well, you
Just
probably had a different attitude to her than some of her other guys.
absolutely. And then she had me helping other people.
Ah,
She turned me to help other people because she thought I was, because I was very, and I'm still to this day, I,
diligent.
I'm very diligent, I respect myself and what that can do to me because I've been there.
Yeah.
And so she had me helping other people, and she never worried about me. She goes, you're not gonna go back there, are you? I'm like, no, I'm not. I literally do not want to go back there. And I remember when I was on probation when I was like 21, and I remember our officer came over to because they do like a home check.
Right.
They come over, she comes over, and we got Bud Light. I was living with two buddies. We got Bud Light signs everywhere. Girls in bikini. Like it was a bachelor pad.
Yeah.
And she looked around. She just looks at me. She goes, "Just don't get caught, please." That's what my probation officer told me.
Right.
She goes, "I see this place." She goes, "Just don't get caught, please." And I was like, "Okay, I can deal with that." So it was, but I was never serious about quitting until this time. I wasn't. I know I will never touch it again. If I touch it again, I might as well just shoot myself.
You finally,
Because
yeah. Keep going with that thought.
if I don't have room in my life for that anymore. I don't have room. I have I have too much to do. Like my kids need me too badly, and they don't. I can't put them through that. So I I never want to destroy my relationship with, not my kids are getting older now. They're 18, 15, and 12. So, and I don't, I'm their friend, but I don't want to be that kind of friend, to where I don't want to be a hypocrite to them,
Mhm.
like don't do this, but dad, you're getting drunk all the time. No, you can't do it. No, I can't do that,
Right.
So
You would be the role model.
right. And I don't, they, they mean too much to me. They are my life. They're everything I do. Everything every day is about them. And I don't care. Like I've had my time. It's their time now, you
You know,
know?
I really relate to that because I would have looked at my life today 20 or 30 years ago and I would have thought it was boring. It's not boring at all.
Right.
But I'm just saying from
No,
outside, my younger self, my other self, my superficial self that always needed this big hum zinger of a time would look at this because it wouldn't have been able to feel what I feel, which is a profound calm and stillness rooted in joy. It wouldn't, you can't see that
right.
from the outside. All you see from the outside is someone who has a ritualistic routine type life and who thinks about others. Like I think about, okay, what do you need for my husband? I think about what does
Right.
my marriage need? What do you need, my kids? What does my mom need? I think about her. I think about others. And you're right, that takes up all of our bandwidth. I don't know where we fit in the drinking before.
Yeah, I don't even know where I'd fit. Yeah, exactly. You're so right. I
I
don't know
don't
where I'd fit
know.
it in now. Like I don't
I
know where I'd
can't.
fit it in now.
Yeah, like if we were looking for actual completely objective view of let's play a game called let's pretend that we're trying to find a good time to fit in a few drinks, feeling a bit tipsy and needing to sleep it off. I don't have a day. There's if I look at
No.
like today and tomorrow and Tuesday, like there's no Wednesday, there's okay, let's get into June now. June, there is no time. I have
Right.
no time to not be on the ball, feeling great, and doing what my dog needs. My dog needs me to take him on an hour-long walk by the river every day. Well, how do you do
Because
that
he's
when you're hungover?
you can't,
You can't.
and I because I'm, with my ex-wife being gone, with their mom being gone, I'm a mom and a dad. I had to
Yeah.
shave my leg to teach my daughter how to shave her legs. I had to shave my leg, and
Did
but I did that because
it
you
grow
know what?
back thicker?
It doesn't matter. Around the ankles sucks. That's all I know. Like around the ankles, I don't even know how you guys do it. So,
Oh, what a good
but
dad.
I mean, and so yeah, exactly. I don't have time to do that. Like I every minute has when I'm not working, it's it has to be about
Every
them.
minute counts. Okay, so we're sober and our being sober will help others, but we're not necessarily we're so busy helping our immediate family that the fact that we are just I feel like just another ant in the sober community and I'm here for the community. And however I'm called to do it, I'm there. I love talking with other people that are sober, because in all the ways that I'm conscious and all even ways that I'm unconscious, it keeps us sober,
Right.
you
Because
know?
so when I was in drug court, I remember this because they would have people would come in, like counselors and people would just come and visit while we were doing our thing. So I
Yeah.
remember this guy comes in and he had this, so he had a regular arm and then his right arm like was like a nub. And I remember looking at him going, oh man, look at that guy's arm. And I was the girl that I was sitting with, I was like, look at his arm, you know? And so I went to get counseling. He ended up being my counselor.
Oh,
And
wow.
he helped me so much. And then he passed away during COVID. And I
Oh,
hadn't been able to find a new therapist because now I'm at a different point in life. I need a woman therapist. You
mhm.
know, I don't think a male therapist can take me to the next plateau that I need to get to, because women are naturally nurturing.
Mhm.
They're more level-headed than us. You guys are absolutely more level-headed than us. And I
Really?
don't say that. Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
I think so. A responsible, smart woman. Yeah. I
maybe.
don't.
I think that there are men like that too, though, that are,
Yeah.
but I hear what you mean. You know what? More accurately, perhaps a women therapist is going to help you repair your relationship with the general woman, meaning mom, ex-wife, aunt, friend, all the women in your life. If you have a female therapist, you will play out that role a little bit on a subconscious level.
I
And
grew up with four women in my house. I had
right,
two sisters, my dad or my mom, my grandma, and my two sisters. I grew up with four women in a
you
house.
have women as role models, and that's maybe another reason why it's really going to be pragmatic and
Right.
for you to have that female, even if it's a female insight, saying, you know what, I feel this and see this with what you're doing or whatever. Maybe it's something you would trust more.
And I get
Because
along with women better than I do men usually anyway.
I get along with men
Because
better than women generally.
do you? Yeah, because it's just like my daughter. I respect her because she sees right through me every time, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
And so I think for me to actually heal myself, like I've never healed. I've just moved on, and that's that's my problem. I've never healed from anything. I just keep moving on. I go for the next day. And I just I just finished writing a book
Oh,
that
wow.
I'm gonna publish.
Good for you.
So
That's
I
amazing.
hand wrote yeah, I hand wrote it. I've had multiple sclerosis for 13 years. So I've had mine is more it's more neurological than physical.
Right.
So I I went I just jotted down just random mental illness thoughts that I've had, whether over the years, through sobriety and through, dealing with this disease. And, it's just so I hand wrote it. It's because I want to make it personal. And, it's a very easy read. It's like 100 pages, but it has just like one or two thoughts per page. And then the other side is blank, and it's gonna be open for people to use as a journal because how many people want a journal and they don't, like people love journaling. So I'm just if I can help one person, that book did what I needed it to
That's
do.
beautiful.
And that's all I care about, because I'm by nature I'm a helper. My mom, when God puts angels on this earth, that's my angel, my mom,
Yeah.
because I respect her. So and she's always been there for me, through the good, through the bad, she's always, and that's the thing I've always said. Like when you talk to a man about anything, a problem, it's different when you talk to a woman. As soon as you talk to a woman's head goes right to, let's find a solution. That's a lot because they think differently than us. And women are they can compartmentalize things and think of solutions and ways to get better. So that's why I want a woman therapist,
Well, and
because I really think she's going to get me to a place where
I think you're right in some ways, because I know with my husband, he has to go away and think about something. He doesn't even know he's doing that. When he tells me, okay, I don't want to talk about this right now.
Right.
Actually, what's happening is, and he could use different language. He could say, okay, let me have this for a day or two. Because what ends up happening, and that's within his relationship with himself, which he's getting better at as he gets older.
Yeah.
And we get along better because of it. But he will come back. I know him, even though he bats it away and says, yeah. So I don't get a good reception. But 2 days, 3 days later,
Yeah.
invariably he comes back to me and says, you know what, I've thought about that thing. And sure enough, he has a well thought out, very pragmatic, because men are more practical in some ways, solution. And he'll listen to my podcast even, and he can look at the practical side. He won't even listen to the content because I don't know. He's not still drinking beer, so he's not in the space, but he'll listen to my podcast. And he once said, yeah, your levels are all over the place. And then I was able to start employing an auto leveler, which is part of the software. I started looking at that. That's very practical. Like, who do you know would listen to a podcast and talk about the levels?
See, that's the thing. It's like
That's a man.
a man comes up with technical side. Like
Yes.
we like I am, I'm good with my hands. When when something breaks, my sisters call me because I'm
Right.
gonna come fix it for them.
The handyman.
So, but if something breaks, I don't call them to come fix anything. I love them to death, but they can't fix anything for me. So
And
it's
some women can. Like, I have a boss at work
yeah,
that she can do everything a man can do, and 10 times as good. Like, she'll take care of her whole, even though she has a husband, she'll take care of the whole house, including the whole driveway and the lawn and everything. She does it all.
right.
He's out driving his cab. So, I mean, there are exceptions. Maybe it's the 80-20 rule, but I wish you all the best in your search for the right therapist. And if you don't mind my saying, we all have things to still that we need to reconcile within ourselves. We all do. I have stuff, you have stuff, but I can even see a very bright future for you, because you have something that's relatively large, which is this guilt. And I wish you
Yeah.
the best, because I'll tell you, it is even the biggest guilt. It is healable. You can recover from it. You can be.
I hope so. I hope so because I don't see it happening.
Have hope. And you know what? I will have hope. Borrow mine. Borrow my hope for you, my vision for you. I will pray for you that you are released from it.
Thank you. No, thank you so much.
Your chivalry and your noble, because of your guilt, that it's noble to want to carry it for the family. However, there is an angle, there is a perception somewhere around that where it's not helpful.
Right. Absolutely.
I understand
Because
why you're doing
I,
it, because of your guilt,
the head is the mind is the most lonely place on earth, you
right?
know, when
Yes.
you don't have support.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that. Like my head is Cirque du Soleil. There's
Right.
there's there's people on trapezes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I I have to keep myself wrangled in because I go off topic and I'll just I go all over the place. So and it's been hard to date since I got sober too. It's been really difficult for me.
Well, and just before you, I just want to stop you there and say, well, until you're 100% reconciled within yourself, it's better that you don't, and do whatever you want. But and the reason is because who she knows today, it'll be different in a year, because you're going to
Right.
continue to heal, or you'll drink. So then who she gets in a year is different from the person that she met, because you're in this, you're in this change mode, I think, as you grow. So it's better when we're stable. I went through recovery within my marriage. It's been very hard on my husband. But one thing I'll say is, after 21 years of marriage this summer, I'm 100%, he's 100%, and now we can continue to be together. It's definitely not 50-50. Like, you have to be
Right.
okay with your solitude, 100% happy within yourself. You know, the one that's willing to walk away wins. You know that expression?
Yes, yes, exactly. And
So the willing to walk away is that independence of her, that you don't need her, but you love her and want her. Like we need to get
right.
into those relationships without attachment. And then we can thrive, because in the moment of disagreement, she will say, or you will say to her, okay, let's agree to disagree. You go over there and you be you, and I'm going to come over and read my book and be me. And then we're simmering down and we're staying together. If we're all up in each other's stuff because we need things from each other, then we will always be dragging each other down. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not a marriage counselor, but this is just what I've seen within my own relationship.
Oh, absolutely. Because I've, and I've dated people that drank since I quit, and it never worked out.
Well, it's
It
it's
just,
perhaps too fresh in your 10 years is still fresh in your
yeah, and it's just, it's not. I'm not
yeah.
like I don't. It doesn't. I don't have this want to to drink. That's not it. It's just like I know I know how bad this can be,
Well, not only
and
that,
then
her brain is going to be different when she's drinking than when her brain is
right.
buzzing, yours is not, and then you can't relate like when you're talking.
Did you ever deal with a drunk person when you're sober? It sucks. It's
They're
it's never
annoying.
easy.
They're
No,
annoying as women.
exactly.
Yeah. So no, that's normal. And when Colin, once in a while, he'll get inebriated because they said he drinks beer when he watches hockey. And once in a while, when he's inebriated, I'm like, I sleep in the other room. I'm like, okay. And I'm not angry.
Yeah.
And he
Right.
expects, it's like, oh, you'll probably sleep in the guest room tonight. Because like we just, after all these years of marriage and with me, with the total of about 9 years of it sober, 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, I'm about to pass my third 3 year mark this summer. Let's hope I get past it. I think I will.
I
Um,
think you will. I don't.
this
You're doing
sobriety
too
is
good
different.
to
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. This sobriety is different, but we managed to coexist. I wish he didn't drink for him, for his liver and for his health. But
Right.
as far as his behavior, he's one of those annoying drinkers that he could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
It's very,
And those people annoy me.
I know.
You
It's like,
know, it's like either having a dish or don't. Come on, don't
right?
mess with me. You
Why are you
know.
drinking an addictive substance and not becoming addictive? It doesn't even
Yeah.
make sense in my world. But I don't want to be him. I am glad I have the addiction now, because now I get to stay away from it 100% and I'm healthier. Our livers are healthier.
Yeah. And then I don't. If I went back to it now, I would be letting so many people down. Because there's a lot of people that in my group that look at me and say, I can't. He did it. And I don't. I can't let anybody down. That's and that's how I live.
Hey, if that's what it takes to stay sober, that's okay.
If I have to please everybody, I have to help everybody. I do whatever I can. I work with the homeless, and I love those people. Like they're amazing. They're
Yes.
it's just the most humbling thing I've ever done in my life. And I wanted to be an addiction counselor, but I don't know how to tell somebody to stop. That's I know how I stopped, but it's hard for me to tell somebody how
It will
to
come.
stop.
It will come. Perhaps when you get rid of this guilt, you'll be able to tell people how in a way that's effective, that you love them. And because of that, just stop.
Right. And I don't know when I don't know if I'm ever gonna get rid of the guilt though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I
And
don't
I
know when
want
I'm going to
to.
be on. I don't know when I'm going to be on stage, um, giving my motivational talk with, which clearly I need to do, with the truth about alcohol, the truth about stop lying, the truth about the truth. I have something in me that I don't know how and when that's going to be possible. I mean, I know I could just book something, write something, practice something,
Right.
get up on stage and go through my first failure. I mean, I realize that I do know a path, but I don't know my path. And it doesn't mean put it this way, I'm skipping all the stuff in between. God's going to work that out. And I'm just worrying about my final vision. So, you know what? If you visualize what you want, and it takes a while to get crystal clear about what you want, because if I ask you right now, what do you want for your life? Do you know the answer?
I have no idea.
There you go.
I want I want to be happy, but
No, happiness happens along the way. It's not a goal. So you know
right.
what? So you know what? And I'm not giving you advice. What I'm telling you is this is a truth. If you find someone who doesn't like their job, let's say, and you say, okay, great. If God came down today and say, okay, you don't like your job, what would you like to do instead? A lot of people don't know. They're like, I don't know. Well, then there you go. Now you get your default job back. Okay, get out of here, get out of my way. Because, or, you know, God goes, I've got other things. I've got
Right.
other people to help that know what they want. So our only job right now in this wonderful new arena of sobriety, Johnny, is take some time. I don't know if it's a long walk. I don't know if it's a deep meditation. I don't know if it's like the sound meditation with the big bowls. I don't know what you need, but I think what would help you, because it helped me, is figure out, and it could change, but figure out what you want for your life. So in 10 years, what do I want? So I figured out what I want. I want to be a sober coach, motivational speaker with my own podcast. Okay. So now I started the podcast first, and then I'm going to do that. And I don't know the order, but I have a full-time job, and everybody at work knows that I'm trying to let go of it and do this full time. So it doesn't matter about me. I'm just saying I had to get clear about what it is that I want. And yes, I want to be on the world stage. I want, it's not that other people that people need to know me and I want to be famous. What I mean is I want to play in the big leagues. I want to be with, I
You
want to,
sound you sound so much like of what I want. What I,
there you go.
because when I started doing HVAC 25 years ago, I went to broadcasting school.
There you go.
I wanted to be on the radio.
There you
Like
go.
that's what I want to do.
Do it.
Now,
Do
now
it.
the radio, terrestrial radio's gone, and now like I've been I've been dreaming of starting a podcast.
Do it.
That's my
Do it.
dream.
So,
Like,
yeah.
but I don't like the way I sound. I don't like my voice. So
Yeah, but guess what?
it's
Okay, so then there's something I'll say to that, because me too. I listened to the first few and edited it and went, oh my God. I heard my voice years ago, though, and started hating it and started working on it. I started to let go of affectations a little bit from theater school. That's tics that you have within your own mannerisms that you need to get rid of. Well, there's exercises and there's ways to get rid of them. So it does take a little bit of work. But putting that all aside, because very few of us sort of like the way we sound, is if you get clear that that's what you want, just have that vision and then go about the little business that's in front of you today, and it will come to fruition. You know that because there's certain things in our lives that we have and we went, oh my God, I wanted this 20 years ago and here I have it.
yeah, because that was what made me write my book. Because
Yes.
I my ultimate goal is to help people. I don't care how I do it. I want to do that. That's what I want to do. And I don't want to be rich off of it, but you know, I
Living.
I like that's because I remember when I was in college and my writing teacher, I was writing and she told me, she goes, you should be a writer. And when I was 19 years old, she told me that. And it's been kind of a lifelong dream for me. So I'm finally, once I get this book out there, one of my dreams will be met. One of my goals in life will be met by this book.
Congratulations. That's great.
And I hope it's perceived well. Like you know, I hope I help somebody,
Yeah.
like actually help somebody. And that's all I want. I don't, it's not about the money. It's about being respected and,
Yeah. And when I
you
said
know,
about playing on the world stage, it's funny because my thing is not about helping people. Put it this way, I feel I've been called to do it so that I feel good about myself. And I'm probably going to help people along the way. But really, ultimately, if I go really deep, it's about my opinion of myself. That's the only one that I care about. And the reason I want to be on the quote unquote world stage
right.
is because then I can have a conversation with some heavy hitters. I can have some conversations that are high level, and they tend to be in that realm, but I don't give one hoot if people know them or not. I don't give one hoot. In fact, I had a small little exposure to fame when I was on the cruise ships, and I would give the lectures, and they would be piped into all the cabins, and I was on the stage telling people where to shop, what to do, da da da. I represented all the jewelry stores. I was port and cruise consultant in charge of the shopping program as part of my job. So I'd be on this stage 5 times a week recording the port lecture. They'd be in all the cabins. Oh my gosh. So people would stop me in the hallways, and they would want to talk to me about the most asinine things because they'd seen me on that stupid boob tube in their room. I would avoid passengers because I don't want to talk to, not because I don't like people, but because I am busy, because there was a lot of other things I did on board. So I learned that it is a big hassle for people to know you. I can't imagine what the actual famous people go through. It would be so
Yeah.
annoying. And yet, I guess in some ways, the paycheck is arriving at your doorstep because of those people. So
Right.
in my case, a bit different on board. They went and did my recommended tours, bought at my recommended stores. And yes, that's how I was paid. So I had to be kind and patient and all of that. And that was a tiny little microscopic exposure to, I guess, what would be called being somewhat well known. And I didn't like it. So I definitely don't want any kind of fame. But what I do want is to do a good job in this space.
I
You
want to
know,
be respected. Exactly. 100%. Like I want to be respected, and I
I don't even need
because
respect. I'm a woman. You need respect. You're a man. I need love. I need people to be kind to me, to welcome me into their circle. I need respect as well. But I think the number one thing I need is I need to feel loved and give love. And you, my friend, being a man, you need love as well, but you need respect, and you deserve respect. You go to work every day. You provide for your family. You look out for them. You care for people. I mean, that demands and should command respect. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and women. There's one saying that always stuck in my head. It was men want to be loved, women want to be wanted.
Yes,
And
that's perhaps another way.
I'm a true believer in that. And I haven't done my part. Because I in '72, and our culture is so different. And I'm I don't want that. I want somebody to I want I don't when you don't feel true love from somebody, it's weird, because it's like people can walk away from me, but I can't walk away from anybody,
Well,
and
it's funny
I'm
that you
very
said, but if we go back for a second, when you don't feel true love from somebody, when I don't feel true love from somebody, it's funny, even though I said that that's what I want, I actually usually think that there's something wrong with them. Like I don't equate it to me, and maybe I'm delusional, but when someone
me too, but when it
doesn't
keeps
have the
happening, I'm like, oh,
yeah, when someone doesn't have the capacity to care about me as a fellow human being, like in the basic level, um, you know, I feel that they're really, really like in trouble, that
yeah,
they're lacking. And
it's
I guess I think I'm lovable. I don't know.
oh, very, yeah, oh yeah, I'm very lovable. I know that,
There
but
we
it's just hard to I'll never get what I give from somebody. I know that, and that's just
go.
who I am.
Really,
I'm an empath.
I
I'm
get
an
what it
empath.
is, I
I'm
think.
I have very high intuition, and I'm empath. So people tell me things that I shouldn't know this. I shouldn't know this thing about you, but people just feel comfortable for some reason telling me things. And I never judge anybody, but I always take it in and I always listen. So it's some
Are
people
you
don't.
Italian?
No, I'm Serbian.
Oh, Serbian, because you almost have
Yes.
this way about you that it makes me feel that warmth of the Italian.
Everybody thinks I'm Mexican. Even
Oh,
Mexicans
I
think
didn't
I'm
think
Mexican. So,
that. I thought it.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I mean, I grew up with four women in the house. I'm not your average male, you know.
Right.
So, and I don't have a problem with that, you know,
Oh
because
yeah, because you're balanced. You're very balanced,
right,
and it makes anything you do artistic. Very, you're in touch with that part of yourself, and yet you're still very masculine. You know, you look very masculine. Like nobody would think you were effeminate in any way. So
right,
it's
and
lovely to meet someone who,
that's
yeah,
that's what I tell. Like, I can tell any female this. Guess what? If we can be in a bar or anything or anywhere, I said, I'll tell you the most romantic
yeah,
shit you've ever heard. Just pour my heart out. And if somebody disrespects you, I'll turn around and knock them out. You know, that's that's how
right.
easy that can go for me. Like,
That's
I
the damsel in distress and that whole archetype.
have both sides of that coin.
Hmm.
I'm a natural protector, and having three kids, I gotta be a protector. I have to, because you
Yeah.
know, I I need them. I need these kids. I need them to make, because they've ultimately made me better than any therapy could ever make me. My kids, all three of them, have put a certain thing in me to change me.
Hmm.
And especially that little girl, man. She's something else.
Well, we
She's
get gifts along the way. So, just to finish off here, what would you say to someone who's still drinking and they really, really want to stop? What is the first thing that they can rely on when they stop that will make them feel supported? What should they do?
and I've had this question asked to me a lot of times, and I've been thinking about it so much. And I think it's just, I feel respected. Like, I get a respect that I never got before quit drinking. The Because so many people have this problem. There's Alcohol's a problem to so many people, and nobody can ever conquer it. And I feel like I'm doing something that not a lot of people can do.
Mhm,
So me and you, we're in a we're we're in a low percentage,
mhm.
that we can actually
Be free.
live our lives and be free from any kind of substance or anything. We don't rely on anything anymore. So that's what I tell people. I'm like, the the day when you don't rely on something for your day to go a certain way, guess what? That's when you start winning. And the more you win, the easier it gets. And my days have gotten easier because I don't even think about it anymore. I don't even, I see it. I see, like, I was standing around a bonfire one time a couple years ago, and they were passing a bottle of Jaeger around,
Yeah.
and I didn't know everybody, and the guy next to me, he thought I drank, so he passed the bottle to me. And I used to love Jaeger, so I smelled it, and I just passed it on. It was not even there
Yeah.
was no part of me that said, take a drink, take a drink. No, like, I don't have that little
Yeah.
person on my shoulder anymore telling me to
On.
do that.
Mhm.
I have my faith that says, hey, guess what? God gave you a gift. Use it or lose it.
Yes.
That's all you can do. God gave me health. God gave me good people in my life. And not a lot of people get that. So I'm very thankful, and I'm blessed, beyond blessed, for what I have in my life, the people I have in my life. If I need it, if I need anybody, I can call anybody anytime. So that's what I tell people. I'm like, once you stop relying on something, like, my day is going to be like this because I'm doing this. No, once you don't have that anymore, don't pick up in the middle. I remember, seeing people that couldn't even work unless they took a shot,
Right.
you know, and it's like, once you don't have to do that anymore, if you can make it through one day of that, go to two, go to three, go to four, and then I'm I'm so I'm so grateful that I don't have to count days anymore. I count years now.
Yeah. And you
And
know what? There is a lot of online um 5-day sober sprints, 3-day. You just have to Google
Yeah.
it. On my, I was a member of Tribe Sober, which is an online community.
Yeah, you
Janet,
were saying something. Is
my
that a good?
group,
I'm gonna check that out. So
check out Tribe Sober as a community. They have Zooms. It's out of South Africa, so the times are wrong, but you can always do Saturday ones. You'd like them, they'd like you. And on the Facebook group
thank
Tribe,
you.
oh, they would, they'd love you. And there is a few men, and there are a lot of women, but there's a few men. And I think that that's what would make it really, really strong for you, is there is a lot of women. And Janet, Susan, or Sue, I should say, and Lucy, they run the Tribe Zooms. And then Lynette is the coach, and you get a free consultant session. It's about the price of a bottle of wine a month to be part of the tribe. And her podcast is called Tribe Sober. Tons of guests, hundreds and hundreds of podcasts. I'm episode 177. When I was at my 1 year, she interviewed me. But what I was going to say was, she has on Facebook something very helpful, which is a 5-day sprint or boot camp. So when people
Yeah.
are just getting sober, they can go on there, all of them together, 10 or 20 people that are all just sober curious, and they're just trying to piece together 5 days. And then they can go to her 30-day program. And then she has the breakthrough program, which is 66 days, something like that. So Tribe Sober is maybe a good online community for you. There's a few of them. So even if not that one, find one, because that might be nice for consistency without actually having the therapy session. It will offer therapy. And then if you do go with Lynette, who's going to be a guest on my podcast, she offers some group coaching. Her course is called Path to Purpose. And it's wonderful. And getting coached in a group is something that perhaps that you could be facilitating for others
That's got to be amazing, though.
one day, Johnny. I could
Yeah,
see.
that's got to
Yeah.
be amazing.
Yeah, and if you were a
The thing,
facilitator on my group coaching, like maybe I bring in a guest or two from my podcasts, and we host a few people that are just in their first few days of being sober, and we're just there to listen, you know?
right. And if you ever want to do anything, let me know. Like
Yeah, I will keep
I'll
you in mind, because I have group recordings with Podbean. My podcast tool is Podbean, and you can do group recordings. I think I have 8 people right now. So imagine from Sober and Free Facebook group that I put out a post that, hey, we're going to do a group day 1 sober coaching. So when you're ready and you want to have that first day, it's going to be 20 minutes, and perhaps earlier in the day, and it'll be obviously recorded. People can come on live, or they can listen to it later. Maybe we will do 5 days. Maybe that's a good, maybe we'll do 3 days, but we could have
right.
a few guests from the podcast on the panel, and then a few people who want to try this sobriety thing out. And they just want that, sounding board of, it'll just work out. Like, I don't know. I mean, with no structure, perhaps there's a bit of a structure. Maybe I introduce everybody, and then we go through and just ask them how they're doing.
Right. And yeah, I really love what you're doing right now. Like I really love what you're doing.
Well, you do it.
It's
Yeah, you're part of it. Look at, you're part of it.
oh, I know, but
Yeah.
you started it. Like you made this happen for a lot
Right.
of you got a big group out there of,
Yeah. The sober
and
and
that's
free group.
awesome. I love it. Like I just found it, a while ago, but it's amazing.
And
Like
the
you're
people are
doing
amazing. I agree with you. Like, I see some of the posts and comments. I read a few of the comments just on a podcast once. I took the episode off because it doesn't match the other ones, but I could have a podcast where I just go and read a post and then read all the comments, because some of the comments are so good.
yeah,
They're so immediate. Like when someone's struggling and they put a post and they say, oh my God, this happened and I just want to drink. I mean, if it's genuine, we have a few robots or whatever.
right.
I'm talking about the genuine ones. And then there's guys and gals that are sober, that are in there, and doing their service work and telling people, listen, I put things like breathe, drink water, stand on your head if you have to, but
Right.
get into your body, little tidbits, right? Walk around the block, come back and see if you still want to drink. uh get a dog, well, like whatever.
Right.
Just
Find your place, find your place in
do
life where
something,
you
like
want to
don't
be,
sit there in the mire. Do something different, do something that you've never done. It's fine if you still think you're going to get that drink, okay, fine, but before you do, why don't you do this? And then it's something maybe they've never done before, like drink a whole 2 bottles of water. Have you ever wanted to drink
Right.
waterlogged? Maybe if you grab your water and you finish 2 of them, you'll be like, oh my god, I can't have a beer now.
Right. And that's something I had to learn to do with my, because I've always I had anger issues.
Yeah.
So in my relationships, and that's what I had to do, just like you just said, go take a walk, go do something and
Yeah.
see if so
Interruption, it's
that's how
called.
yeah, that's how I
Interruption.
process
Yeah.
like when I'm in an argument with somebody, I have to walk away, go think about it, then come back and be like, okay, this is what we should do. You
And
were
go
you're you're spot on when you said about, men have to go away, think of a solution, then come back.
yes.
That's what I've had
Paul
to do with my
cannot
anger.
handle confrontation. I can
I
handle it. And I think while I'm talking, he doesn't really, not that he doesn't think while he's talking, he can't talk English without thinking, but I literally am able to get ideas and, spit them out at the same time. Colin needs a little time to reminisce, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
and I need some time to slow my mind down to wrap my head around
Yes,
it.
and be sure that it's not a knee jerk reaction. That it's actually
Right.
it actually is what you want to do, because there's a very big difference between responding and reacting.
My reaction is going to be horrible if I
Well,
just off
well,
the cuff. It's not going to be fun.
it might
So
be it might be rash. It might be something you regret later. It might be all
right.
that. So yeah. So
Yeah.
let's stay in touch about this. I would love to have you on. Are you on my moderation team?
No, do you want me on it?
If you want. So all it is I ask people to never do more than 5 or 10 minutes a day, but to try to do it every day as part of their, I don't tell them this. I'm only telling you this because we're on the podcast together. I suggest that you make it kind of part of your routine. I do it in the morning when I do my meditation and my coffee. When I first get up, I do my meditation first. Then I pop into Sober and Free, and I go and I accept a few people, and I'll go over it with you if the criteria, but I accept a few people into the group, and I accept or decline a few posts. And then I've done my 5 or 10 minutes, and I have 9 or 10 moderators, and that's what they do. And between the 10 of us, but I'm adding and taking away all the time, because people request sometimes hey, can I stop moderating for a while? And I'm like, absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
because people are doing it for service work. But if you just do a few minutes a day, it's amazing when the 10 of us are doing that. We're able to filter through 400 or 500 requests a day, because that's how many requests there are to join a day for some
Right.
reason.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's how the group grew. So I need moderators all the time. New people in, new blood is great, because you're excited and motivated, and then you're more consistent. And then some of the people that have been doing it for a while, or they've gotten, I was going to say, some people that are doing it for a while are kind of like the novelty's worn off, but also they can just change their routine because their life got busier. They go on vacation. And then I noticed the requests creep up again. People aren't really doing that much. I have a fellow administrator, someone who's in the same position as me with the Facebook group, called Andrea, and she's great. And she works like a lot, almost too much. I'm afraid she's going to burn out. Like, I don't want her to burn out, and I want her to stay.
Yeah.
But any help that you want, and give us a little bit of if you want to do your service work in that realm, I'll send you an invite to join the moderator team, and then I add you to the moderator messenger group, and it's just a little chat group, and we sometimes
Thank you. Yes.
share our sobriety and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I just want to say your group, your something about you and your personality, and there's something about you that's reignited my
Good.
my excitement in being sober. And I'm swear to God, like I'm not
No,
like you've
and I get it from other people who do it to me when I'm feeling like humdrum, and
yeah, exactly.
then we feel like it's
Like
not that special. And then I just listened to Over the Influence, and Sharon Hartley, the host, with her partner host. I'm so sorry. The man that does it with her is wonderful. I can't remember his name right now. I used to listen to it, and I listened to it this afternoon on my walk before I met with you. And she got me all excited again. So we all do this with each other, this.
and you're just your energy has put me in a new place.
That's great.
Since you commented on my post, I've been in a new place.
That's
Talking
great.
to everybody, like
Yeah.
check out, check this out,
Yeah.
and
Share the
you've
podcast. I need some listeners.
yes, and you've given yeah, exactly. And you've given me a new outlook on things. Like I am so thank you so much.
Oh,
Like
you're welcome.
you have no idea how beneficial you are in
Well,
this
good.
group.
It's a pleasure, and it's such great reinforcement. And you help me go forward when I have some editing work to do. When obviously with a full-time job, sometimes I don't feel like it because I'm tired. But then if I'm working from a place
Right.
from that inner energy, then I'm never tired. In fact, I'm so wired sometimes I don't want to stop editing and go to bed because I'm just enjoying it so much. So you give me that, and that's this synergy in this sober community. So I'm grateful for you, Johnny, and keep me
Thank
informed.
you so much.
Keep me informed. Send me your book when you have an ebook, when you have a way that I can get it,
Yeah,
or
I will.
put it on the sober
Yeah,
and
my
Free group. I'll
oh,
give you
okay. All right.
permission. Tag me.
Okay.
So put
All
your
right.
book up there, and then anybody on the podcast always has now a free reign to share your stuff in the group with none of the other moderators can ever say anything about it, because this Lynn Adams, who you heard has those bracelets, well, she's allowed to post
Oh
about
yeah, yeah. Yep.
bracelets. And I do like her school community. She was sharing the school community every single comment. And I thought she might want to be more efficient and I said, just post about it. Don't worry about having to share it with every comment. Just post. And same thing with you, with, anything you're doing, feel free to post it.
Thank you so much. Like you've given me a new outlook on this
Yeah.
whole on the
And
whole it makes me want to go out and help people be sober now because of I'm telling you, you're the first comment you had to me, like I'm still on
what did
cloud
I
nine from it.
say? I don't remember.
You just said, yeah, I'd love to have you on the podcast. For
Right.
somebody to say that to me, because I'm a big my life revolves around podcasts. Like I go see them live. Like I have
Oh,
there's
wonderful.
one up in there's one in New York. It's called Who
When are
Are
you,
These Podcasts?
when are you starting yours?
I don't know.
You
When I
think so?
get to I don't know. I'm not sure because I'm very my sister people call me the mayor. All right, because I can go anywhere. I will make a friend
Well, then why don't you just call it that? Why don't you have a podcast about how to make
where
how
I
to make
go.
friends?
So I know that'd be great, but
But you know what? The podcast
I
is
mean,
fiction. That's all it is.
I was so ever since you asked me to be on it, I've been so excited. I've been telling everybody about it because thank you. No, I just want to say thank you. You're
Oh, you're
amazing.
welcome. It was my
And
pleasure. And we'll have you on again, or I will be one of the guests on your podcast.
there you go.
There you go.
So,
We have
and
a date with destiny.
yes, and I'm gonna try to get this book out within the next couple months, and I'll get you the copy, you know, and see. I would love to know I'd love to know
I will definitely give you feedback.
so
And
I
then
really I really
I can always go back into the notes of this podcast in a couple of months. I can change these notes and I can put the link to where they can get your book.
well, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yes,
for everything. Like
my
you
pleasure.
brightened my day. So
I
I
wish
appreciate
I
it so
wish I
much.
could hug you.
I know you owe me a hug.
I
You
do.
absolutely, you owe
One
me a big,
day, I see it now. We're going to meet in person and we're going to have the best hug.
I'm known for my hugs.
I
Anybody that
got
knows me
5.
wants me to hug because when I hug somebody, I hug them
And you
like
probably
I.
crack my back. It'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Like
Okay. You
I've
owe
been
me
cracking
a
my
hug.
sister's back for years.
Yeah.
So no,
You owe me a back
no,
cracking hug. And we will make a date. Hey, now we've even dropped another little ripple in that pond of having maybe a sober and free event and each one of us speak on stage.
I can't come to Canada though. That's the problem.
But I can come to the States. We can do it in the States.
Yes.
My
Yeah,
father lives
absolutely.
in
Because
Arizona. My sister lives in Bakersfield. My sister-in-law. Like I have places to
that's
sit and
I'm
also do
ready.
an event. And we're in Michigan.
I'm in Michigan. Yeah. Because yeah, when you get a DUI, you can't go to Canada.
Yeah,
So
that's fine. But you could fly to California.
oh yeah, absolutely. Like
And
I
I
would love
should
to go
have
to
gotten a
Bakersfield.
DUI, but I didn't. So I can go to California.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so we'll do a sober and free event in a few years in California, and all my podcast guests will be the speakers.
All right, sound good.
No,
I'll help you organize. I'll help you do any organizing. And if you need
it's
anything from me,
I
don't be afraid
will
to ask, please.
I will take you up on that. Okay, love you.
Love you. Have a good day. Thank you.
This podcast was produced by Susanna Porowski in Whole, and the opinions shared here are those of the person that shared them and in no means applies to everyone. If you have a problem with drugs or alcohol or anything else, please reach out to the professionals in your local communities. Have a happy, sober day.